Hey everybody, Goofy Rexy here. Hope everybody is doing well and wanted to do a team build guide today here on the Dead Sea team. Been playing around with the team so far in the Doom raids and feel as if though I've kind of narrowed down sort of like the best build for them. Obviously, of course, there is always going to be some variation depending on what it is that you're doing, but kind of just wanted to talk about sort of like what my thoughts are in regards to this team and best T4s. ISO 8. We'll also talk about Red Star priority as well, and then we can sort of kind of go from there. So let's actually dive right on into it, guys, and let's actually talk first about the T4s for Archangel. So I personally think that all T4s are good on him, and we can talk about the reason why here. So I'm going to pull up MSF.gg and kind of just review some of these T4s. So his passive ability, when you T4 it, you're getting the extra 30% armor, the extra 15% crit chance. Now, the 15% crit chance may not seem like a big deal, but remember that on this character or Dead Sea's ally crit, this is his passive, heal self and all Dead Sea allies for 3% of this character's max health. So that passive healing could definitely be super helpful for your team. So I definitely do think that that's something to consider doing a T4, but also the 30% armor I think is pretty good as well. Then the ultimate ability, you're getting the extra 100% piercing damage. He's going to be a high damage dealing character. And you're also transferring all positive effects as well, instead of just transferring 3 from the primary target. Then special ability, you're going to be able to clear 1 additional negative effect off the team, do a little bit more damage. So you're clearing 3 negative effects now, so they're just clearing the 2 negative effects from previously before. And then, like I said, you're doing some extra damage here to the primary and secondary targets. And then, of course, I think the basic is a good one as well, because my recommended ISO on him is going to be Striker. And with the Striker attack on the bonus safety kit in raids, he's going to apply an additional 2 bleeds to the primary target after already applying 2 bleeds here. So that's definitely going to be helpful, on top of the fact that you're going to be getting the assist from Dark Beast, which is going to apply more bleeds. It just kind of gives you a little bit of an extra edge and more damage that you could do over time to the primary target. So definitely would go with all T4s here on Archangel. That would be my recommendation. Now, next on this list here, we're going to talk about Psylocke and sort of my thoughts here. So I would not do her special. So I was clicking too many buttons and I ended up doing her special. Although I don't hate it because of what I'm getting as a return on that investment, but I would not do her special. The only T4s I would do on her would be her passive ability and then her ultimate ability. And let's talk about that really quickly here from MSF.gg. So her passive is a big one because on spawn, she's, instead of the 50% chance to gain, evade, counter, and deflect, she's gonna have 100% chance of gaining this. And then also now on spawn, her Dead Seed allies as well will also 100% of the time gain, evade, counter, and deflect as well, which is pretty big, right? A lot of people keep on saying that Psylocke is like the Spider-Man Noir or Phantom X of the team. I definitely typically tend to agree, because I found situations where the unspawn, evade, counter, deflect have been really important, especially the evade. Also, whenever they get below 50%, she also gives them evade and counter as well. So to me personally, I have found that Psylocke is a very essential member of this team. So I want to debunk that theory for those who are saying that, oh, she's not a really good character on this team. No, I disagree. She's definitely a good character on this team and definitely needed. Now, I would do her ultimate ability as well. You're getting an extra 110% piercing damage, but then you're also reducing the speed bar on the primary target by 25%. If you're specifically targeting depending on what character you want to obviously select the right character, but being able to reduce the speed bar by 25% is pretty important. The one thing about her ultimate though is that majority of the time, what you're trying to do is that you're saving this ult because you're trying to remove negative effects off of the entire Dead Sea team. So I do see that sometimes that maybe the T4 on this may not seem as rewarding, but I do think that if you can be selective with your targeting, and maybe transferring over those negative effects onto a primary target, I think that will be fine. Forgive me, guys, I'm still a little under the weather here, so projecting is a little bit challenging right now, but I do like that T4 on her ultimate. Now, her special, I wouldn't do this one. I did it by accident, and to a certain extent, I actually like some of the rewards that I'm getting from it. It's an increased 40% piercing damage, which is not really that much to move the needle. You're getting an additional bleed, applying bleed for 2 turns before you were applying bleed, I believe, for 1 turn. So now you're getting a 2-turn bleed, but it's this chain to 5 adjacent targets that's actually been helpful for me. There have been a couple times where I've been able to chain to 4 targets and then kill all 4 targets. And of course, it then activates Archangel's passive to generate ability energy. So there have been some times where this has actually worked. And also the additional bleeds as well do sort of kind of help out. So either way, though, I still probably wouldn't do this special ability. I would skip this one. Absolutely. And then her basic ability, I would also skip this as well. Although a lot of people are going to make a case that if you're running Striker on the rest of the team, except for Dark Beast, that all basics are a consideration. But I would say just take a look at what the safety attack does and how much damage you're getting on that increase. Right now, if I attack you're right now without the T4, you're getting 160% piercing damage. If you do T4 it, you're just getting an extra 20% piercing damage. Yes, you do get the additional defense down for an additional turn, but I don't think that it's enough for me to say, okay, well, I'm getting a solid use out of that investment. All right, so let's look at Magneto here. So what I did on Magneto, once again, I probably wouldn't, if you had asked me again, I would not have done the basic, but the basic was done. I think once again, I'm wondering if I did this basic like a while ago, because I don't remember doing it recently. The only ones that I would do on Magneto are his passive and then his special ability, and we'll talk about the reason why. Right, so for Magneto, his passive, you want this one because in raids on spawn, if this character has 4 or more Dead Seed allies, you're generating 5 ability energy for self. So that's big, right? Ultimate ability, you're just getting an extra 30% damage to the primary and secondary targets. I wouldn't do that one. It's not worth the T4. But special ability, though, I would do the T4 on this one. Number one, you're getting to remove all positive effects off the primary target, but then you're also in raids, you're applying ability block for 2 turns, which you need those ability blocks definitely in the boss node. And then actually a couple times too as well, I would say in, I believe, the second node, you're definitely going to want you're going to want that ability block there. So you definitely want to do that T4. Now basic, if you do this, you in raids, if this character has 3 or more Dead Seed allies, you will prolong all negative effects by 1 on each target. This could be useful to, let's say, extend ability block, right? Or extend a disrupt. Like, it could actually be useful. I don't know though if it's like a needed T4. This may be a luxury one, but I did do it and I'm getting a benefit from it. I don't remember doing it recently, so I probably just lucked into haven't already done it before and then getting the benefit of using it now. So that's kind of the scenario that I'm in. I don't know if I would recommend doing this T4, but I will say this: if you did it, it's also not terrible, right? That's basically what I'm saying. All right, and then for Nemesis, I did his passive, his ultimate, and then his special. That's what I did on him, and I think those are the right way to. That's the right way to go. Passive ability: if you're gonna give it an extra 15% damage for self and in all Death Seed allies, you definitely want the additional damage in the Doom raids. His ultimate ability, you're getting an extra 100% damage to all enemies with that attack. But then what's more important is that in raids, you're applying trauma for 2 turns to all enemies. Now, before you were getting a 1-turn trauma, but having a 2-turn trauma, I think, is a lot more impactful than the 1-turn trauma. And of course, the additional 100% damage is also nice too, but I would definitely do that T4 on Nemesis. Special ability, you want this because of the extra 5% steal from each target, and then also being able to apply speed up for 2 turns is nice. Basic, I would skip. It's an extra 60% damage to the primary target and secondary targets. You could make a case though that maybe I don't know. I even won the safety attack. I probably still wouldn't do this one. I think that you're okay with just going with the previous ones that I mentioned: passive, ultimate ability, and then also special ability. You're already sinking a lot of T4s in with 4 on Archangel, with now 2 on Psylocke, 2 on Magneto, 3 on Nemesis. I would probably stop there, and later on maybe do that luxury T4 as that basic, especially being that the next character that we're going to talk about essentially needs all of his T4s, right? So if you're looking at Dark Beast, the reason I haven't done all of them yet, but I will be doing all of them. I'm just kind of trying to space out the gold spending here because I've done a lot of gold spending over the past basically a couple of weeks. I'm down to I think 3 gold orbs now. Yeah, I got 6.49 million gold, but not that many gold orbs. So kind of spacing some things out a little bit here, but I would say all of his T4s are good. And it's mainly just because of this right here, right? In raids, summon a clone of the primary target. This clone scales with Dark Beast stats instead of the primary target. My understanding is this is also going to scale based on his T4s that are in him as well. So I would definitely T4 all of his abilities, just based on the fact that you're probably going to want to have all T4s for the characters that you are going to be cloning. Maybe you skip the basic, but I think at least passive, special, ultimate are probably going to be T4s that you're going to want. Now, apart from that, I mean, the passive and the ultimate are good anyways. So with the passive ability, if you T4 this, you know, on turn, you're flipping one positive effect into a negative effect on a non-summon enemy with the highest speed. In raids, you're flipping 3 positive effects instead, and a 50% chance to apply blind to that enemy. That blind comes in really clutch. Ultimate ability here, you're getting an ability block for 2 turns, so you definitely want to do that one anyways, just to be able to get the 2-turn ability block. And the extra damage is also not bad as well, especially considering too that, yeah, you get some extra bleeds there. Special ability, I probably would have skipped this on a normal basis, but because of the clones, I would still do it. In raids, 2 regeneration for 2 turns of Dead Seed, not super impactful. And then basic here, basic is actually not bad when I think about it. Apply offense down for 2 turns and heal block for 2 turns. This actually could be a decent T4, but once again, you're probably going to want to do all of them for the clones anyways. All right, so that's it on T4s, guys. All right, guys, so jumping back in here, I had to take a little bit of a break. I had a little bit of a coughing fit, and I'm, just trying to had to hydrate a little bit here. So let's talk about ISO 8, and we'll talk about red star priorities, right? So for ISO 8, I think the optimal option, or what most people are going to want to go with, is Striker on everyone else except for Dark Beast, who's then going to have the Skirmisher ISO, right? Which makes the most sense because of the triple taps. And the idea here is that you want to kill them before they can kill you, right? Like that's the whole idea. And that actually is probably going to be the most optimal to go with. Now, I am testing out Skirmisher on Magneto, and I'll talk about why. So in the first 2 nodes, right? So there's Red Guardian, who spawns with Taunt, and then there's also Drax, who spawns with Taunt as well in that second node. So with the Skirmisher ISO on Magneto, so let's say that I had Striker on Magneto instead, right? Let's say I had Striker. So I would do the ult, which of course my primary target would be Red Guardian or would be Drax. Then Dark Beast would follow up with this ISO attack. And then of course Magneto is then going to follow up with his Striker bonus attack, which of course is not going to clear the taunt off of those characters. Now, if I have the Skirmisher ISO on Magneto, when I do his ultimate on Drax and also on Red Guardian, I'm going to throw vulnerable on both of those characters. And then when Dark Beast follows up with a Skirmisher ISO attack, that is going to clear the taunt off of those characters, which then means that when Archangel takes his turn, that I'm going to be able to target whoever I want, to be able to steal, to be able to do whatever ability that he wants to do, steal, get offense up, steal positive effects, etc. Right? So for me personally, that's the reason why I am testing out Magneto as Skirmisher right now. I may swap that over back to Striker, because once again, it's just all about more damage and kind of mowing down the characters. But that is the reason why I'm running Skirmisher on him right now. But I think Striker on everybody else, Skirmisher on Dark Beast is probably going to be the most optimal direction to go in, right? And if it's not for focus, I know people would say, well, what about Magneto's focus? Magneto is not going to have an issue with focus. If you look at the stats table right here, Magneto is the #2 highest focus in the game. I don't think you're going to have to worry about Magneto's focus. He gets an extra 60% focus from his passive ability. This is incorporating that passive ability here. Now, this is like raw stats. So obviously your focus is going to be different based on where your character is for stars, red stars, gear tier, things like that. But that is the reason why I don't think you're doing Skirmisher for focus. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about a focus issue. I'm also partially running Skirmisher as well on Magneto or Cosmic Crucible, but that's a separate conversation for a different time. Now, in terms of red star priorities, I would focus my red stars probably on obviously Archangel for dark promo credits, right? But your promotion credits, like your other promotion credits, your silver and your gold, I would focus them on Dark Beast because of the clones. Obviously, if you have the yellow stars, if you don't have the yellow stars, then you got to just kind of do what you got to, like, do your best, right? I think Magneto is a good character that can get some additional red stars. I probably wouldn't go past 5 reds on him though. Psylocke, same. I wouldn't go past 5 reds on her. Nemesis, it depends. If you get some good yellow, some good drops where you get some good yellow stars on them, then maybe you can consider him for future 5 or future 6. I don't know if you necessarily need 6 on Nemesis though. I think 5 is okay. I think really where you're gonna want to get the higher red stars is on Dark Beast, which of course is not surprising that his event was not as favorable to be able to get good yellow stars on him, which is a practice of theirs at this point, right? Listen, hopefully you guys found this video to be helpful. I know I kind of struggled a little bit, man, with just like being able to talk here and having to take a couple breaks. I apologize for that, but hopefully you found this information to be helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Leave it down below. And until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.